Wait.
Welcome to Keith. God damn it!
I'm sorry.
This is why I was so nervous returning live. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, I got another notice to vote in the mail for the August primaries. How many things are there to vote for?
I got one too. I'm like, oh, primaries are in August. I do not know anything about this country.
I just saw big news. Kansas is a very, very deep red state. Is the first state to vote on if abortions are protected state by state.
Okay.
Kansas, Trump won Kansas 60% to 40%, a landslide.
That's a
Kansas
landslide?
just voted for their constitution to protect abortions. This is a huge deal if you're on the side of, I don't want to pick sides here, it's just a show, normalcy.
If you're on the side of death to all babies. Now, is this a funnily worded thing where it's like, it
Right.
sounds like you're on the side of abortion, but you're just on the side of like protecting the womb? Or are we correct that they're protecting abortion rights in that we can get abortions in Kansas?
They are correct in that there's no tricks. Your abortion is protected in Kansas, the
Okay,
state.
don't trust you, but okay. Okay.
And this vote was 60 to 40%, was the opposite of how they normally vote when it comes to red versus blue.
Ooh, does it make you feel in your little,
Cold heart?
positive heart that maybe they learned a lesson? Like, if we don't go out, if we don't care, then we won't be counted. Yeah.
Well, there's so many things we don't get to vote on, but when you see, for example, veterans benefits being a big deal, when should veterans get paid for being hurt during these burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan where they burn hazardous waste? If you're over there, 90% of the people over there fighting were exposed to these cancerous burn pits. That's even a thing, and we don't get to vote for it. My point is, when you finally do get to vote on something, it might not be the way they've been playing it for you. This is exciting news. That's my point. At least for me and Chemda. Now, to be fair, we have to hear both sides. With the other point of view, Fahim Anwar. Hello, Fahim.
Hey, that's how you want to be intro. Just abortion. Our guest, Fahim Anwar. What's your take? Let's polarize immediately.
Fahim is a hilarious stand-up comic. You can stream his special. There's no business like show business. It's fantastic. Do you agree or disagree?
The new one is...
I know. Fahim,
all right,
please.
I just want to make sure.
Okay? Forget the old one, everybody. All right? You
Yeah,
only got
forget
time
it.
for so much. The new one is on YouTube. It's called Hat Trick. It's recorded at the Comedy Store. Hat Trick meaning, of course, 3 in a row. He does the 3 rooms at the Comedy Store, apparently in one night. Is this a one night or a trick?
So it's a little bit, it's a half step, It's
Okay.
a little, I think 2 of them we got on one night and the other one we picked up another night, but it feels like one night.
Yes.
Oh, I get hat trick now. I did not know what hat trick meant. Does it mean like the card Monty thing where you
No,
have
not at all.
No?
It's 3 of anything, of any kind.
But
no,
why is it a hat trick?
I
Because
don't know why
in soccer, when you score 3 goals, it's called a hat trick. And then in hockey, when you score 3 goals, it's called a hat trick. And then that's just the terminology comics use when they do all 3 rooms of the store. It's always been known as the hat trick, but it's
And
been
Chemda's
like,
defense, what's it
Yeah.
have to do with hats?
Thank you. That's not my fault.
Right, that's fair.
Okay.
that's a good point. Yeah.
You know what? You have to learn my name. I have to learn your language. We're doing good.
Yeah, we're learning. It's an exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
By the way, does it, again, the special hat trick is excellent. I hope you're very proud. Does it bother you at all that people introducing you or the person that comes on after you and says, give it up one more time nobody knows your name? Did you make peace with that? That's just the way it is because you look like an asshole to correct them. They don't know where to put the syllable, right? You know that.
Yeah, that's a good point. They know nowadays, like they say it right nowadays, especially at the Comedy Store, because once you get past, it's everybody because they're your coworkers, so you're bringing up the same person after you. There's a familiarity. And also I'm further along in comedy where people like know my name. But when I was younger, and it still happens every now and then, if they butcher
I'm hearing
it,
a lot of Anwars. Does that mean
I
nothing?
take both. I do Anwar, I do Anwar. It's like Visa or American Express. I'll do both. I
Okay.
accept both. But I don't mind that. The Anwar,
Okay.
Anwar, that's nothing. But
How
when
about an
it's just
armoire?
yeah, that's close,
We
but no
can
cigar.
we can
But
go anywhere.
there's ones that are like Fahim or Fajim. They add a J, and then there's no winning because I just let it slide. Because if you go, actually, it's
Right.
Fahim Anwar, the audience hates you immediately. They
Oh my
don't
God,
care what your name is if they don't know who you are.
I had an ex who used to do that, where if it's a foreign word or a foreign name, he would decide to put an accent, like so you can't, you're rolling R's for no reason, you're putting emphasis on something for no reason, and it's like an Indian person where none of those sounds are coming out of their vocabulary, and he'd be like, I'm like, where are you even getting this pronunciation? At least check beforehand before we go there.
Right.
It was
You know,
so
just be happy.
awkward.
Be happy. I'm trying. I'm adding unnecessary
Yes.
khaz in your name.
And
Right,
at the-
exactly. Like, oh, that's foreign. It must
Right.
be a weird sound. Fahim is coming up.
Yeah, I did it because I'm an ally. Quit getting mad at me.
Right.
They thought my name was fuck you. They thought that I don't like to let go. By the way, congrats. At the end of the special, I see they added your name to the Comedy Store on it.
So that's a thing they did. I think it's footage from 2011 that I was lucky enough to have. A friend of mine who was getting passed at the time, he was getting his name filmed, and mine was right after his. Because a lot of people don't have that footage of like when it was added to the wall, so that was kind of neat.
Right. And you're up there with the greats like Samantha Fox. I know her name's up there. It's very exciting. And
Yeah.
congrats.
How did
Yeah.
Samantha
Thanks.
Fox get up there?
No idea, but I thought it was funny when I saw it there.
That's so bizarre because Samantha Fox is many things, but I didn't know one of them was a comic. I know she sang. I know she was on my brother's wall, so I'm very familiar with her boobs, but I did not know that she told jokes.
She was in April's, I thought it was for April's Playboy. That's my birth month, and I remember where I was when I discovered her. And I think she deserves to be on there. I don't know what jokes she told, but I'm good with it.
By the way, going back to the name, Christy is saying several people at my job kept pronouncing empanada, empanada, just to be like, look at me, I'm supporting.
Speaking of food, I want to get into a couple more, not too deep, political stuff. We're going to get to know Fahim, of course. Cracker Barrel is trending right now because they are offering vegan options.
Were they offering food?
Camden and I went there some time ago, and we asked what the vegetable was, and they said it's fried rice with bacon. So I'm surprised that they would not understand that impossible sausage now.
I will say I am a sleeper fan of Cracker Barrel because sometimes you have to do the road as a stand-up, and I was doing LOL in San Antonio, and the hotel's right next to the freeway. There was like literally nothing to do, and I have no car, so I would walk to Cracker Barrel.
What a
Past this
great
freeway.
advertising for Cracker Barrel. Okay, mind you, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I have no other options. I might be killed, or I can go.
This is an oasis, though. This is nice. So, I'm not expecting much. I hear of Cracker Barrel. I'm like, what is this thing? I go in. Like for $4, it's the most insane. Like the bill comes out, and it's like, what planet am I on? This is insanity. Of course, this place is awesome.
The toy section's more expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Discover new meat frontiers, experiences that are out of this world flavor with the impossible sausage made from plants next time you build your own breakfast. And of course, they're getting some hate. This is why you have to show up at the polls. These are who you're fighting against. Here's some tweets. Don't ever try to push that crap in my direction. Stick to the basics that made your franchise a success.
Oh my
This
God.
isn't a Russian bot, to be clear. This is a person with a family.
Like that person could still get their steak and eggs. I don't understand.
Right.
Like they're just expanding their options, but even that makes them angry.
Are you kidding me? Who do you think your customer base is? I still order the double meat breakfast, and it's not even on the menu anymore. Right, because they don't want shot in the face. Whatever you're inventing, they're making. No problem. You just lost the customer base. Congratulations on being woke and going broke.
Whoa.
That's a new saying I'm seeing. You go woke, go broke. We'll boycott you.
Well, it rhymes. It must be true.
Right.
If the glove doesn't fit.
Do you deliberately stay away from political views when you do stand up? I notice it doesn't necessarily make its way into your act. Is it a conscious choice?
No, I'm not averse to it. Like, I want the idea to be strong enough where it's like, all right, I will address it because I like my POV and perspective on it. But I'm not a comic that dabbles in that like all the time for every topic. I just like to talk about everything. And if that happens to be part of it, then I will address it. But it's not like, look at me dance so close to the line for an hour, you know?
Right. Right. It's just, it'd be funny. Like I see South Park or I see your stand up, let's say, and I'm like, this guy's on the side of good. And at the end, it's like, you missed it. I got you.
Well, that's another thing too, is if you have a POV or a joke that is kind of polarizing, you let them get to know you for the first 15, 20, whatever. And then they kind of know what your heart is and that you're like a decent person, or they get a vibe for your personality. And then you slide in the POV. So they're more receptive to kind of hear maybe the other side that they never thought about. So
give it to Palestine. What? We were getting along so well.
Right.
Yeah, you don't open with that type of stuff. Your
I guess I don't exist. Hello, folks. I see that Donald Trump tweeted out, I will be endorsing the great state of Missouri Republican race, the nomination, for Senate sometime today. And then somebody on Twitter named Jacob wrote, the truly chaotic move would be for Trump to just endorse, quote, Eric, and let the voters figure it out because there's two Erics. That's exactly what Trump ended up doing.
Stop it.
Eric, in all caps, ERIC, has my complete and total endorsement. The two Erics both tweeted out, congratulations, we got the endorsement. Eric, greetings. I'm honored to receive President Trump's endorsement. From the beginning, I've been the true MAGA champion fighting against the Rhino establishment, Republican in name only, the Rhino establishment that's backing Schmidt, my opponent. President Trump said it's best when he characterized Schmidt's campaign as great dishonesty in politics. And Eric Schmidt tweeted out, endorsement, President Trump, red siren emoji. I'm grateful for President Trump's endorsement. As the only America First candidate who has actually fought for election integrity, border security, and against the left's indoctrination of the kids, I'll take that fight to the Senate to save America.
Indoctrinations of the kids?
We're trying to get them to eat fake sausage, you know.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, that's horrible. Yeah.
So all Erics thought they won, and Trump can't lose no matter who wins.
Yeah, but who cares? You know, the tweet went out, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah. I think it doesn't matter what the truth is, like just draft off of that. And I think all of them knew that it could not be true, but hey, let's just get some of this heat while we can.
Exactly.
They did, right? They were on phone calls and they're like, say it's you. Say it's you before he says it's him.
Right, because either way, you're right. And then when as if Trump's going to make a correct, who cares? When he makes a correction, it's already, who cares?
We'll just retweet his Eric tweet.
You know what's crazy is like you read up on like P.T. Barnum and all that stuff, and it seems so long ago and like, oh, how dumb people were. But like, we're the same shit. We're going through it right now, and that's a prime example.
Yeah, we say things like, I'll vote for him because it feels like I could have a beer with him and feel comfortable.
Yes, we're just as dumb as those people back in the day.
Yeah, I don't think we should feel that comfortable all the time.
Remember the first movie ever made was that black and white train that came to the screen and supposedly everybody ran out of the theater and I'm like, respect my elders. You guys heard an alien radio show and jumped out the fucking window. My dad's an idiot. But you know what? Maybe we're living in that time now. Who knows?
Like the first time I saw Avatar in 3D, I ran out of the movie theater. I peed my pants.
I peed my pants because when I'm in water,
I wanted to do a sketch where it's like me and a girl, I'm on a date and we're going to see like an AMC movie or something. And it's that roller coaster intro. And I'm definitely afraid of roller coasters. And I like pee my pants in the popcorn kernel and shit. Like the date is ruined. I'm just terrified at this roller coaster.
We started with the train. Now we got a roller coaster for fun. Yeah. That's just to get you to buy food. The very first, man was sentenced for 7 years in prison for his participation in the Capitol insurrection. Guy Rafit received the longest insurrection-related sentence to date for bringing a gun to the U.S. Capitol and threatening House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Rafit, a recruiter for a right-wing militia, was the first Capitol rioter to go to trial rather than take a plea agreement. He's like, I'm gonna fight this like Trump's fighting it.
Ooh, do we know what? Do we know what they were offering him before the trial?
No, I don't.
No.
Does he know he's not the president and may get different treatment?
He thought he'd get a phone call from Trump. Any day now. He's like, what was that? The Tiger King. He's like, any fucking day now. I'm going to get that pardon. We'll see. The big news, Al-Qaeda leader, #1 Al-Qaeda leader, he was just killed by a United States drone. A drone, by the way, that doesn't have firepower necessarily. It kills you by how fast and how thick it is. And
What?
It has spikes on the side of the missile.
For real?
For
Stop
real.
it.
And it cuts, I'm dead serious, and it cuts through concrete. And let's see, it's the R9X. It's a Hellfire missile. Most distinguished characteristic is that it doesn't explode, simply uses its weight, momentum, and blade-like appendages to kill. It can slice through concrete and steel.
I mean, did the Mortal Kombat programmers invent this
Right?
missile?
So the guy's in his safe house on his balcony, and this missile just smacks him and kills him. That's how they get him without collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
And then if there is collateral damage, then it's, that doesn't come out till a year, and they go, you know what I
Right,
mean? They
right.
never admit
Yeah.
it was a playground. It was like, it
Right.
was a
a
target we were
second.
investigating. Like,
I
where's there a slide?
I get that collateral damage is actual like deaths around the people that you didn't kill, but how about collateral damage for the person who had to see him with his head chopped off or whatever
That's a
that
good
drone
point.
did to him? How about like if he's on a balcony looking out into something might be looking out into him. I don't know. That seems like really, really, really traumatizing. And I know that you can't have no collateral damage because someone's going to get traumatized. How about the person who had to attack him with a drone with a little
Piloting that?
joystick? Like just
There's
like
probably some Gen Z kid on like this moonlight, some Call of Duty champion. He's like, yeah, I'll do this on the side.
I
Yeah,
picture the
maybe-
shit
maybe
I
they-
say when I play Destiny. I picture the shit that comes out of my mouth. If I killed the #1 Al-Qaeda guy, fuck yeah, holy fuck yeah.
Doesn't it feel like they could say though, like we killed the #2 Al-Qaeda guy? They say that every 3 months, and America's just like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah,
Right.
that feels good. You could do that in perpetuity for 5 years. Just be like, we killed the #6 ISIS guy, and we're like, all right, yeah, we're winning.
right,
And they
we
just show
don't
up-
know
they
his name
throw up-
anymore.
Yeah, they can just throw up a picture of Jafar, and everyone's like, yeah, all right, we got him.
This was in Kabul. Is this bittersweet for your family? Did they know this guy? No, right? No, I assume not, right? No, that's silly. Of course not. Why would they? Everybody doesn't know everybody. You were born in America. Your parents came from Afghanistan, right?
Right.
Are you able to talk to your parents and complain about anything in America? I mean, like people in LA, mom, are so fake.
Yeah, not really. I mean, they'll always beat you. But the thing is, they were there when things were pretty good, before the Russians came in. So it was sort of like they were there at the height of like culture and stuff before things kind of like went back a little bit,
But your mom got lucky somehow and was able to get out early. And is it her family that took time to think about it, and all of a sudden it was too late for them to go? So it's still a scary, tense time.
I'm lucky that most of my family, like they all were able to come over here. So I don't really have family still over
Okay.
there. Yeah. Sometimes I think about that, like, I'm doing stand-up as a career, and just like if I was still in Afghanistan, what a different life I would have had,
Right.
Honestly, I didn't even know that families can do that. I didn't know that the origin would have no family anywhere. Like I was born in Israel. There's a ton of family there. My father's from Iran. My mother's family's from Iraq. I'm sure there are people there. I didn't know that an entire family can leave. I thought you're always leaving like a cousin behind or something.
Yeah, it was like a slow, not all could come at once. It was sort of like, like a drip. Yeah. I'm sure I have distant family over there, but like nuclear, grandparents and stuff, and cousins and aunts, they all came over.
Is Afghanistan in the Middle East or South Asia, or is it all branding?
I think it's technically South Asian.
Okay.
I mean, I'm bad. I'm dumb. So like it's either Asia or South Asia, because in stand-up bits, sometimes I'll say Middle East just because it's a comedic shorthand. Like people can wrap their head around Middle East whenever I'm doing a certain type of joke or something. Because like South Asian or Asia, there's like this math that you got to do where like technically it may be right, but comedically it's clunky. So I'll just do the shorthand of Middle Eastern. And then some people in the comments will be like, we're not Middle Eastern, bro. Like they don't understand like the technical stuff that I'm doing for comedy. And I'm aware.
Right. I understand just one sounds like a vacation spot.
Or what if I say I'm Asian, that doesn't register, even if it's technically true, you know?
That's the thing is on those forums where I have to pick something, I'm tempted to pick Asian because technically, if we had to pick one continent, we are on the Asian continent, are we not? So technically, we're Asian. We're not.
I told him to write Earthling. I'm like, can we just get through fucking TSA?
Yeah. We just can't wait for aliens to invade us just so that we can all check Earthling.
Right. I heard an interview you did with your mom. And by the way, she seems very fun. She seems like she was on board with you being a comedian. Did I take that right?
She would kind
or
of
only now.
She was playing both sides a little bit. Like my dad was team fuck no, you know? And then I have the twinkle in my eye. And my mom is somewhere in between there, where it's like she wants her son to be happy, but then is also practical and worried if things don't pan out. Like she won't flat out say you're doctor. Like, yeah, probably doctor.
It was that simple.
Well, you were an airplane engineer, right?
That's not a doctor, my friend.
That's a doctor to me.
No,
if there's
man.
English doctorates, then to me an airplane's a fucking doctor too. All right,
what if I got my doctorate in English and then it just enraged them on this technicality? They're like, that's not what I meant.
And they just gave it to me honorably.
Yeah.
But now she seems completely.
Where did you go to high school?
High school, Woodinville High School in Washington State.
And
then I went
to
University of Washington for college.
Is your dad on board now with being a comedian, or is there still a chance to be a doctor?
I don't think there's still a chance, but I think he's a little more so. He's a tough cookie, but I think with the financial success, and now I kind of have like tokens of success. Like, okay, I bought a house. He understands those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
does he understand graffiti on the Comedy Store?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the funny thing about the early years of stand-up that are actually little milestones, but like your immigrant dad would have no idea. Like, hey, I used to be and more on flyers. Now they put my name on the flyer. Hey, I got $20 at the like.
Right. Right. It pays for the trip home. Mm-hmm. You started stand-up at 18 years old.
Yeah.
What are you talking about at 18? I know people have done, like Gilbert Gottfried was 7 years old. I'm like, okay. But 18, like, what are you talking about at 18?
Am I right? Go. This kid's good. There's all these agents in the back.
Right.
Can you believe he's 3 months? Oh, this is his shitting his pants closer. I love this. He opens and closes with shitting his pants.
What's 18 stand up, and is there any chance that I can hear it?
I don't remember what I was doing. Like, I don't know specific jokes when I was 18, but probably stuff about my family, probably my dad. My dad's probably ripe for comedy. I had this one joke like back in the day. It's probably terrible, but I think the gist of it was like, just my dad, like when he tells people off with telemarketers, like he won't say fuck you or whatever. He has his versions of it, kind of like an immigrant version. He'd be talking to MCI. That shows you how dated this is, how old I am. MCI was it was like a phone company.
Yeah.
So he'll be on the phone with MCI and he'd be like, you listen here. You and your entire corporation can go fly a kite. Like that was his fuck you, like go fly a kite.
Right.
Like no one told him it didn't mean as harsh as he thinks it does.
I like it because then they picture the fuck you to themselves.
Yeah, and just
it's even worse.
To see an Afghan dad say "go fly a kite" with the venom of "fuck you" is kind of a funny visual. And he has it like locked and loaded. It's in the chamber. Like, get ready for this. You and your entire corporate can go
drum roll.
Like he's expecting the guy to hang up in offense. Like, how dare you? How dare you tell me to go fly a kite?
in your first album, which I do recognize. There's no business like show business. You talk about how your dad will see things on TV. It could be you playing a video game. It could be a movie. It could be, without exaggeration, you say Independence Day. The White House blows up, and he goes, "What?"
That's a true story. Yeah.
Or you're playing NBA Jam, and he's like, "Holy shit! This guy did 7 triple flips and then dunked the ball halfway through the court." Is this an exaggeration?
Okay, one is a slight exaggeration. The other is just like a absolutely true story. Like the Independence Day story, that's flat out true. But the NBA Jam. So what happened is like me and my brother would be playing like NBA 2K, or it was one of the PlayStation. No. Okay, so that was the leap. That was a creative leap. I think we were playing like EA Sports basketball or something. And the polygons with the first gen PlayStation, it looked kind of 3D and real. In hindsight, hilarious, because not really, because Shaq is made of 30 polygons. So my dad walks into the room, he's like, "Oh, who's playing?" It's like obviously a video game, but it's not NBA Jam. So that was the comedic leap of like making it NBA Jam, to watch a guy on fire doing 17, front flips and dunking. But the Independence Day story, that was 100% true. Like, I don't know if you guys remember when they were doing that Orson Welles War of the Worlds type advertising for that Will Smith movie, right?
Oh, I don't, but I picture it.
Okay, so Fox was doing this thing where they were making it seem like aliens were invading Earth, sort of a play on Orson Welles' radio play or whatever. And so I don't know why I did this as a kid. I just snap. I go, "Dad, turn on the news. Mom, Dad." And I just like led them to believe the aliens were really... So they're watching Fox, and it's playing like it's really happening. They have anchors, and then they're changing the channels, and they're like, "Why is it only on Fox? It's not on other..." And I'm like, "I don't know. They must have an exclusive, right?" So they're talking about these giant spaceships.
They have an exclusive from the aliens.
On one
they
channel.
bought it. Like they were poking holes in my little thing, but then I was able to say they had an exclusive on the aliens. So they're like, "Oh, these shadows are being cast, these mile-long shadows from the spaceships." And then my dad's looking out the window to see if like he can see the shadows. And then he's gonna call his...
Did he see them? Sorry, but my dad would see something.
No,
my dad would see a funny cloud and see something.
But they would have because in the newscast they would cut to the different continents, and they would show like tribes people and the shadow casting over them. So it looked like it was happening all over the world. And then they show that scene where the spaceship flies over the White House, and then the bay doors open up, and this laser blasts, and then the White House explodes into a million pieces.
Yeah.
And my dad is sitting on the edge of the bed watching it, and then he goes, "What?" And that's when I lost it. Like when he saw the White House explode into all these pieces from an alien laser, and said, "What?" Like I couldn't keep it in anymore. That was the pinnacle of comedy.
Has he ever like, and you were a kid, of course, when he would like try to teach you a life lesson, do you ever throw in his face like, "But remember when Will Smith said, 'Get off my planet, bitch'? Like, maybe I'm not an idiot, Dad. Can I take the car out?"
No, I like those lessons and having that upbringing and different, like I respect the POV. And I think now that I'm older, I respect it more. You're a little more angsty when you're a kid and you think you have it figured out, even though you've only been on Earth for 17 years. Right. But I like those little talks and perspective now. Is
dating a family issue?
No, not really. Yeah. Things are good. They're understanding.
How is dating going?
Good. I have a girlfriend. Things are good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I can do it.
Does she ever say your stand-up implies that you don't?
No. Okay. Well, that was I think when the stand-up you caught, I didn't have it.
Okay. How long has this been going?
Maybe like a year.
Oh, okay.
Did you just look at her eyes to find out?
Like I hang her on the she's on a shelf. I keep her like, "Oh, hey babe, how long do we..."
Feed me the answers faster. There's a lag.
He brings up, for example, he's on Tinder and some woman says, "I'm just here for friends," and he goes, "Oh, okay. Can you take me to LAX?" That's what friends do.
Yeah, I thought we were friends. "I'm moving. Do you have a truck?"
And the things us guys just put up with, like, you're on a date, a woman says, "I'm a Wiccan," and we're like, "Oh, a Wiccan, okay. Is that more an indoor or outdoor thing?" But if you said, "I'm a wizard," That'd probably be the end of the day. That's a very good point. We'll put up with that.
You know what's crazy is that in the comments, people are like, I mean, that just shows you what the internet is and people's baseline temperature is. They just want to fight. People are fighting over that Wiccan bit. There's like real Wiccans on there that are like, this is just as real as believing some man in the sky, or it's about healing. And just like these Wiccans are so mad in the comments.
Right. Yeah, this is the thing too. Like, the primaries are coming up. Vote. You have the time. I see you guys on social media. You have the time, and you like to complain, and you like to change things. So show up and do the right thing. Yeah, I would respect you if you did say you were a wizard. Okay, great.
That is some of the comments. I'd be like, I would want to hear more. I would not leave.
What would the exes of you agree is your biggest negative quality?
Probably like too analytical, like not the best emotional intelligence, like too like hyper logical.
So they would agree you're a dude.
Yeah, but like,
but we're the shitheads for trying to solve a problem you brought up.
We're just oblivious. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's my saving grace, though, is that's not malicious. It's just I didn't even know.
Right.
What was the biggest I didn't even know, or one of the standout ones?
What's one? I mean,
Is it hard for you both to know what romance is, right? Because a lot of romance was part of like a sexist atmosphere. I hold the door for you. A lot of chivalry stuff is very.
Anytime any of my girlfriends had some kind of big meeting or big showing at their business, I kick open the door halfway through. I go, I love ya! Let's get the fuck out of here. Throw her over my shoulder. Whistle an officer and a gentleman. We walk right the fuck out.
So everything works for you.
No, these are all exes. But yes, to answer your question, yes, it is hard to know what to do.
I think it's also what your version of like showing love is. Like for me, it is being present in time, like time and being in the company. But for other people, it's like words of affirmation. And that's hard for me sometimes.
So you're like, I'm here. What do you want?
Yeah, or like I'm spending all this time, or I'm not. I blocked out these shows to make the time and to like do something, and like sometimes I think that's enough. But then like no, I want to hear these words or whatever, and that's trying to get better with that.
Well, Fahim does tell a joke where the gist is, I said I'm going to go there on your, wherever you want to take me with a smile on my face, but then they push it and be like, are you having fun? I'm like, what kind of kidnapping is this?
Oh my God. That was the big one for me, where it's like, okay, I'm going to the thing that you want me to go to. I can tell it means a lot to you. I love you. I'm going to go to the thing. And you think that, okay, I'm doing it. And you're at the thing. And on the car ride home, they're like, it just didn't seem like you were having a good time. Like, what the fuck? I went to the thing. Right. Why is that not enough?
It's like
then the joke is like, it's like kidnapping someone and being like, it seems like you don't want to be here. Right. Like when I put the bag over your head, you had a frown. I
drew a smile on it.
Yeah, you should want to be locked in this wine cellar.
I hear you. By the way, speaking of dating, here's big exciting news. The great Dane Cook is engaged. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. I saw this. I saw your post, Keith. And
you got to support comedians and who can't support love.
Holy shit. Because I read it. It said long-term, proposes to his long-term girlfriend who is 23. He's 50. Yes. And I'm like, wait, how could it be a long-term relationship if she's 23 and he's 50?
I like to pretend that's People Magazine throwing in the zinger deliberately.
Oh, for sure. You don't have to title it that way. No. Long-time girlfriend, 5-year relationship. Long time is definitely a little stab. But oh my God. So long time. So then Keith tells me that they met when she was 17. Am I getting this right? But
yeah, they met 17 at some game night.
He waited until she was 18.
Yeah.
Barf.
Yeah.
Barf.
That's not chivalrous, the waiting.
No, the lying is not chivalrous. The lying to me, Keith Malley, is not chivalrous.
Now, I'm 46 years old, okay, which is
Right.
around the time that they got together, right? A long time ago.
Yes, yes.
So imagine me going like, here's an 18-year-old that I relate to, totally not just sexually, because that's relatable too for this person.
Right.
But wow, and I've said gross, and people have been like, you're so judgmental. You know what? I'm going to read a response. Somebody that I know, and I'm not going to tell you who it is because I'm actually upset with this person for doing it, saw your tweet. Now, no one ever like quotes my tweets back to me, but they
Right.
saw your tweet and they saw my response and they took a screen cap of it and said, no, it's not, Chemda. And I was like, no, it's not what? What does Dane Cook have to do with me? And I'm like, holy shit, I wrote gross and they're saying, no, it's not gross. And I go, it's not gross? And he goes, not gross. Love is love, gay,
no.
straight, young, old, etc. And in order to not get into
Black,
a fight,
purple, green, yellow.
right, non-existent, whatever. But in order to not fight, I just like, you click on it on an iPhone and just put the LOL emoji. So I just wrote,
Okay, that's good.
Very funny. Anyway, are we still friends? What the
Right,
fuck?
right. I tweeted, the announcement from People magazine. Then I said, they say the minimum age of dating someone is half your age plus 7. Who has time for math? I say, ask yourself, if your partner was your age, would you still be alive? And this person has to defend love. I think it's that simple. If your partner was your age now, would you be dead?
Well, she
That's
wouldn't even
when you
be
know
born.
if it's too much.
When he was 23, she wasn't born yet.
You can
So
look
she
at it
wouldn't
that
be
way
alive.
too, right? You can do it either way you want to do it. You can do it. And yeah, it seems a little too much for me. Here's a picture of Dane Cook that he posted, them at the game night. I'll put it on the website. You can't really see it through here, but you can see Dane Cook and her next to each other. Last night, Dane says, we had a fierce group of boys and girls at my house for game night. Literally,
Ew,
boys
it was
and girls.
really boys and girls. Blech.
There's nothing better than celebrating all the hard work with your friends. Then they ended up working it out, these two. I really hope it doesn't seem like I'm patting myself on the back, but when I was fairly new to New York, I'm in my mid-20s. One of my first waiter jobs, the receptionist was a hot 19-year-old, and she was into me. I wouldn't go out with her. It was too fucking weird. Now, nothing necessarily wrong about that. I don't know if my friends would look at me weird, but I'm even just talking to her, not just by numbers, just talking to her. Maybe this woman's so much more evolved,
Yeah,
but I'm like, everything about you is 19, and that means you just graduated high school. This is weird, even if I'm 25.
Well, it's also weird when you have no cultural touch points in common
Right.
with your other. It's kind of tough because I'll make these references or whatever, and it's nice to be validated by somebody else, and it's sort of like you have lived the same life and experienced the same things. Then sometimes when it's too young, it's almost like it's alien.
And I'm being completely serious that scientifically your brain isn't formed until you're 25.
It doesn't matter. When I was 23, my parents were younger than Dane Cook. So
Right.
you're not just my parents' age. My parents happened to be young when they started, but you're at least my parents' age, and I'm 18. By the time I turned 18, you traveled the world.
Right.
That's
She can't rent a car without an extra surcharge.
Yeah.
That's
But
something.
here's the interesting thing. There's cultural perception and taste regarding the stuff. And then there's also the law, though. So it's how do you reconcile those two?
Just this. You do a show and you put it online. Like this. I'm not calling the cops. Like this.
Sure.
Yeah. This isn't a law thing. If the 17, 18, I don't think that makes a difference. I'm not going good for you. You waited. How lawful of you. No,
Right.
you waited.
Do you also
went,
think, though,
when's your birthday?
Yeah.
Ew, it's worse. Just fucking start when she's 17 and be a little more on. You're so disgusting.
Yeah, like Woody Allen's defense was that he waited till she was 18. Had those 14-year-old nude pictures, but waited until Sunyi was 18. Never happened, liar.
What does waiting look like, you fucking weirdo?
It's wearing a tuxedo and holding a rose for many years.
Imagine waiting for someone to break up. Wouldn't you think that's a shitty person too? Like, oh, they're married, but I'm just gonna wait until they break up. Like, what does waiting look like? Where do you wait? Where's the waiting room for a 17-year-old?
It's like a cell phone waiting lot. You just pull over and you just chill.
You know that sometimes they're going to be at a restaurant or something. She's going to go, don't kiss me here. Just not today, you know? And it's like, you know I'm not your dad. Our rings match. I'm on my period. I'm just not in the mood today, okay? I don't want the hassle. Yeah, you love me, okay? Just not today. Come on. His Tourgasm was in 2006. He had 3 albums out by then. That's his peak. How old would she have been?
She wasn't born. Wait, 2006?
2006. She would have been 4? 6?
16 years, 7?
I don't have a calculator. I'm just saying, is it his charm? Is it the Botox? That doctor, by the way, speaking of doctors, needs arrested for that. You want to bring in the law? What the fuck? He was a good-looking guy. I wonder if I'm to blame. Because do you remember when
yes.
Dane Cook was going to come on our show? This is back in the beginning of our podcast, like 17 years ago or so. And he didn't. And I just made a joke like, well, you know what, Dane Cook, you're not that good looking anyway, something like that. Then he sent in a letter, like really shitting on us, like, oh, it was about my mom's health was sick, so I couldn't make it, and you attacked my looks. I'm like, if anything, the joke is that, yeah, obviously you're handsome. Women love you. Like, I just said something silly. I wonder if that got in his head and he turned into the Elephant Man. Wow. I don't know. I'd like to apologize. I was being silly.
You, between the not dating the 19-year-old and taking down Dane Cook, you are on brand.
Real hero on our hand.
Wow.
Is she like, so, finally the news comes out that they're engaged. Is she like, oh, my phone's blowing up, and he grabs it and throws it in the toilet? Like, no, it's not good.
Why? I think in their world, people are high-fiving them and saying congratulations. What's different? Who's saying?
But you still see things online, and you don't want to,
Yeah, but
that when was the last time? How pure the love is to power through all of that.
I guess.
But when was the last time you saw some love for Dane Cook online? He hasn't been seeing love at all, so I think he's.
I guess so.
Used to it.
I guess so. Good Luck Chuck, actor and comedian, proposed to his singer fitness instructor girlfriend Kelsi Taylor after 5 years of dating. I was so ready to ask her, Dane Cook said.
When she was 17, but I waited. I am a prince.
She is so good at games. Emotionally available? Not really, but, neither was Doogie Howser, and he was a genius.
Ugh, to meet your child bride at game night is extra. You know why? She had to go to game night. She can't go to a bar.
Right.
No one will let her in. She can't even go to the army. She can't sign up for anything.
They take anybody.
You can't go with her to vote. Did you wait so she can vote with you?
Did you act like, did you vote? How exciting. Your first time, right? I'm 50.
And oh my God, recently we had an argument in our chat about this with someone. I won't put him on the spot, but he's like, there are sophisticated 20-year-olds. If they're dating a 50-year-old, maybe it's a 50-year-old who didn't, ever leave his little village or whatever. And I was like, then why are you hoping that for a 20-year-old? He's a dumb asshole, so it's okay because this 20-year-old is more sophisticated. Like, how is this math for you at all?
I was completely zen about the proposal. The evening of the proposal was incredibly beautiful. The weather was perfect. Sunset was spectacular. I was just quite simply very happy.
I had 3 hotels on Park Place.
Cook says he's been planning the proposal for months and decided to do it on a trip to York Beach, Maine. That holds a special place in our hearts. Also, I have a cottage there. When we started dating...
Also, the age of consent there is lower.
Right. I didn't check Maine. California is 18. I didn't check Maine. When we started dating, we went there on our first trip together, so to return 5 years later was meaningful to us. It's a place I spent much time in growing up, so I have such fond memories there. After my mother passed away...
She hasn't had time to make memories yet.
I'll tell her the memories.
Yeah.
And I'll explain to her who's in the original A-Team.
the A team. Like, that's so important.
Like she knows the new A team.
You have to know who Murdoch is.
After my mother passed away, she asked me and my siblings to release her at our favorite spot, the breathtaking location at the tip of Cape Nettic Point. That's where I knew to propose. Good, where my mother's ashes are.
What the hell? Why are you putting those two together?
Cook shares that
we go there to remember my mother, and we go there because it's a romantic. Separate a little.
Cook shares that he and his new fiance have made, quote, a ton of plans and, quote, set a lot of goals for their future together. Name two.
Well, no, that's how 18-year-olds talk. Like, we made a ton of plans. We have our whole future ahead of us.
So is this People magazine laughing at him? Like, here's some things Dane said. Quote, a lot of plans and, quote, so much shit.
Yes.
They're laughing at him, right?
Yes.
We just want to continue to inspire each other, to build a family together, stay mindful and encouraging always, and to keep laughing through it all. Well, those are some goals. Me and Kyle need goals. I want to keep laughing, baby. Okay, now we have a goal finally. I'm about to spend the rest of my life with my favorite person and my best friend, adds Taylor.
But who is she going to spend the rest of her life with?
What is there not to look forward to? I don't know, your first period? Like, there's a lot of shit that's going to happen. Family has always been such an important part of my life, and the idea of expanding it and starting our own family together with the man of my dreams just fills my heart.
Is he mistaking adopting for marrying? It's like, I mean, the paperwork is difficult either way. It's like going to the DMV, I'm sure.
He adds of the moment, I was asking my best friend, the woman I've shared some of my greatest times of my life with, to marry me so we can start the next chapter of our lives together. I was also thinking of how absolutely stunning she looked. Nice. Meanwhile, Taylor, 23, probably picking at her clothes, says she couldn't believe it was happening. That's a weird sentence, right?
Yeah, probably picking out her clothes.
Picking at her clothes like children do, but I added that.
The
second he began to reach for his back pocket, my stomach flipped. I couldn't have asked for the moment to have been more perfect. He had a ring and I took it. It was beautiful. All that was going through my brain was, wait, is this actually happening right now? Is he proposing? What are Maine's laws? I was also just really focused on what he was saying to me because I was trying desperately to etch the words into my brain. They were beautiful. I really wanted to soak it in. What could the words have been, by the way? Okay, other people, they have relationships. I call them relationships. They are bad. They are full of dump. Now, mine is a marriage. Marriage. Age? Okay, let's not look into that. Honey, will you marry me? Cook said it is the best feeling ever. We sat together on the deck, shared laughs, held hands, and watched that giant moon sparkle across the ocean.
It was the best feeling ever. In Maine, the age of consent is 16, and people who engage in sexual activity with children who are age 15 or younger may be convicted of statutory rape, also called sexual abuse.
Well, there you go. He was there 5 years earlier, and he was there when it was legal. Gross. From California. He lives in L.A. He went to Maine. Might as well get a cottage there, sure. Yay. Anyway, Fahim has to see him this weekend at the Comedy Store.
They're both very happy. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. I don't live with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're fine. She does the cooking, ironically.
I really know that they're fine. It's not like, she isn't a child and he is. So I don't know, kind of. I know that like she's a grown adult making decisions, but we could see you. That's all we're saying. Like, yes, everything is consensual and she is an adult and good for her. She's getting married. Good for him. He's, staying active, whatever the fuck. I don't know. But we see you. We're looking at you. We know what we're seeing. I don't know what waiting is.
You say all that stuff and you go, we know, but, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
If I'm with somebody and the age difference is over half of my age, and then I'm in the paper saying she's my best friend, I hope my buddies of so many years go, that's your best friend. I hope Adam says to me, that's your best friend. Gotcha. Just admit you said it for People magazine. You don't mean that's really your best friend.
Well, his other best friend is a 21-year-old male. So like it's just what he connects with.
Right. Yay. Let me mention this, please. This Saturday, big day. It's the Silent Trailers production meeting. Silent Trailers is the game show that the New York Times called the greatest guessing game of all time. What does that mean? I don't know, but it's a quote. And what Hemda sees movies, but doesn't really follow actors and actresses, and so she sees and barely sees movies when she does. She sees a movie on silent that we don't see, describes the movie or the trailer tries to describe it to us, and we guess, me against a bunch of other comedians, guess what movie she's thinking of. And it's a lot of fun. To plan it, we have a production meeting, and you can be part of that, and that's this Saturday, keithandthegirl.com/tickets. Okay? I try to sneak in sometimes, wear a disguise. They've been catching me every time so far, but I'm going to get you eventually. I think that's everything. KeithandTheGirl.com/tickets. Here's what you do when it comes to our new friend, Fahim. Download the stand-up. I say listen to the first one as well. He says don't bother. I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah, do it all.
You have his consent. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's streaming. Just get it. There's no business like show business. And the new one you see on YouTube is called Hat Trick. He put up the money himself. He filmed it himself. Looking back now, what's the payoff between me seeing your first album on iTunes, for example, and you putting it free on YouTube? How's the payoff going?
The financials?
The financials and the
What do you like better? How did it work out for you?
I like doing it on my own this go around. There are just so many positives, I think, that outweigh doing it the old way. Whereas, like, okay, since I did it on my own, I own everything. So I can do whatever I want with it. I own all of the audio 100%. Whereas, like, with the other one, the production company owns half of it. And then also, it keeps on changing hands. So it was originally for CISO, and then Comedy Central licensed it, so it's on their YouTube. So every time it changes hands, the production company makes money. I don't see any money from that. And like, I only got a nominal fee to do the special. So like, it wasn't that much money. Whereas with this one, I own everything. And also that means I get to chop it up for Reels, for TikTok, for all that short form content. I can chop up the entire special. Whereas when you do these things with Netflix or another streamer, they have language in there where you can only maybe use 5 minutes of the special or 7 minutes to disseminate for your socials. So
that's so funny. You would think they would want you to.
Well, they want people to go and see it on their platform. So they don't want the entire special to be chopped up for your social. So, and I get to put it on YouTube. So it just, you have ultimate freedom when you do it on your own, and you're just better off financially when you own your own IP. It's like when you hear about musicians and stuff owning their masters.
Right.
It's just
and you can still put it on iTunes and stuff,
yes,
to be clear.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
Plus, you can put it on whatever commercials you want now, just like musicians.
Right.
It's yours. By the way, we're 3 people right now. Are we a hat trick?
Whoa, she's getting it.
That's a hat trick. And hat trick. Fahim, very nice meeting you. Follow
Likewise.
Fahim online under his name, of course. Fahim Anwar. Pronounce it however you want. He doesn't mind as long as it's not derogatory, right? And I think that's everything. And his name, .com. You'll see everything right there. Very nice meeting you. Thanks for your time.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Absolutely. That's it. We'll talk to you soon.